Hey guys, welcome back to the AE86 Racing Channel. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the car. This is a 1984 Toyota Corolla. It started life as an SR5, and for all you AE86 enthusiasts, you know that you have to change everything to make the car even a little bit competitive. I want to talk a little bit about the history of this car. It has been through a lot of different engine changes and evolutions over the years. I've had the car since about 2003 on and off, and we're going to go ahead and just get into the details of where it sits now and what are the plans for it here in the future. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and go over some of the exterior details of the car. Those of you that are familiar with the car will be able to immediately tell that I've done 11 front end conversion. I got most of the headlights and pieces from Flowsea. I believe he's based out of Ireland. I have a Vis Racing carbon drift hood with vents. These are of course Aero Catch latches. For the fenders, I've got Group A Motorsports fiberglass fenders. This is a mod that I have done that is basically an homage to Hibino, a Japanese drifter. He used to always kind of cut the fenders, and this is just something that I've done over the years to try to release pressure. I am very fortunate to have gotten from T3 the CBY body kit from Japan. That includes the front bumper, the fender flares, and the side skirts. These are all great quality pieces. They fit really, really well. It really is it's just one of those body kits that I really, really wanted. So in the rear, I have got fine line tuning over fenders, and I have actually mounted my CBY flares on top of them. So it really gives the car a lot of width in order to swallow the tires. In the rear, I have this Rocket Bunny style fiberglass wing. I'm pretty sure I got it from a group buy. It might possibly be fine line tuning. And this is a carbon trunk lid that I got years and years ago off of a group buy on Club 4AG. So the tail lights, these are the JDM tail lights. They've got this really nice smoked look. They're completely different than the factory OEMs. Japanese rear bumper. As we walk around the car here, you can see, I've got everything as light as possible. So I've got Lexan rear and side windows, also from T3, as well as the support bracket. Now I've got the OEM rear molding, and as you guys know, if you've ever done any AE86 restorations, parts for these cars are getting crazy expensive and difficult to find. I've got SR5 manual mirrors, not the heavy power mirrors that this car had on it, and just generally anything I could do to make it lighter. As far as wheels and tires are concerned, I'm on a Hankook RS4, and these are 15 by 10 square Natanabis all the way around. And the car gets really, really good traction, and it's actually pretty good tire size for such a small chassis. The car weighs a little over 2,100 pounds without me in it, and with me in it, it weighs a little bit more. So we're going to go ahead and look at some of the stuff that I've done to the inside of the car. Okay guys, let's move to the inside of the car, and I'll go over some of the details on the interior here. It's pretty sparse, there's not a lot in here for racing other than what I need for safety purposes. But we'll go ahead and start. I've got a Sparco Evo 2 US seat for the big boys, Nardi wheel. I have an Auto Power rear 4-point bolt-in cage with Schroth harnesses. On all the door panels, the footsill, the floor, and inside of the car, you've got the T3 replacements. These crinkle black finish is really, really nice, and it just makes a race car feel a little bit nicer on the inside. One of the things I really like is that this car uses the factory S2000 gauge cluster, and it's got a JSP surround that I've wrapped in some carbon fiber, and just basically a very limited controls. I've got my AEM wideband and a good Broadway mirror so that I can see people coming up from behind me. I'm really excited about these new seat brackets that I've got from the guys over at Garage Star. These really drop the seat into the chassis quite a bit more than the last ones I had, and they seem like they're a good safe construction with a positive locking mechanism. I really like to try to appreciate and plug those guys that have helped me get to where I'm at. It's really cool that people make still today parts for this 34-year-old chassis. And I think that's part of what the appeal of the car is. I work really hard to try to make it as competitive as I can. It's hard to beat technology, Evos, Vets, STIs, but I'm going to do my best to keep this chassis relevant and in competition for as long as possible. So let's go ahead and move to the engine, and I will explain some of the stuff that was done there. Okay guys, let's talk a little bit about the drivetrain in this car. This is an F22C out of a 2005 S2000 transmission assembly. All of it came from the original car that I bought locally here in Texas. It was a low mileage engine. So again, really great. There's so much support for this chassis. A lot of great quality parts come out of California. I've got the JSP engine mount kit. It includes the engine mounts and the transmission mount. Makes putting this engine in the chassis really, really easy. You do have to modify the cross members slightly to get the oil pan to clear, but other than that, it's a pretty straightforward swap. In this particular chassis, I've used a Joshiroku radiator that I have mounted low as possible in the chassis with the fans. I've got everything ducted to get the best airflow that I can, as well as a custom expansion tank that was built for the car with assistance from the guys over at Blue Streak Fabrication. I do have some very talented welder friends, and they always just knock it out of the park whenever it comes to helping me create and fabricate special parts specifically for my car. The clutch in it is a really tried and true. It's a ACT Super Sport pressure plate with the AP1 flywheel, which I guess apparently it's got a little bit more mass, and it works really, really well for the rev range of this engine. Now, as far as the wiring and everything is concerned, another great individual out of California is Danny B from Swain Biz or Devil Run. I actually was able to send my harness to him, and he sent it back to me really, really quickly, and it was a plug and play for AEM V2. So the car is running on an AEM standalone, and it's tuned. It's made 220 wheel horsepower and 144 foot-pounds of torque, and it runs really, really well, and it sounds absolutely amazing. So for the rest of the drive line, I have a custom drive shaft built by the drive shaft specialists in Texas, a local company in San Antonio that has built me many drive shafts and has always come through. Okay guys, as a lot of you know, the Achilles heel of the AE86, one of them, is that the rear differential is weak. If you've had one of these cars in competition for any period of time, chances are you've grenaded one, maybe three differentials over a period of time. When I first started pushing this car into motorsports and doing track days with it, I had a real hard time getting the rear end to not explode because of all the additional grip from the tires. So I work with Weir Performance. Spence is an absolutely great dude. He builds a fantastic rear end that holds up. He's got these beefier axles. This particular rear end is actually a 7.5 truck center section with 6-7 axle tubes welded on with his axle kit. So that gives me like a Supra LSD, which is easy to find parts for and robust, and it fits under the car without adding a bunch of additional weight. So for brakes and suspension on my car, currently I have Techno Toy Tunings, full coilovers at all four corners. These use a ground control spring and generally an AGX drop-in cartridge insert. For the brakes, this common swap for the AE86 is the Mazda FC brake upgrade. It uses a custom bracket from my buddy Aaron over at Aaron Rue, and he re-drills the Mini Cooper rotors, and it works really, really well. The car is light, so it doesn't take too much to stop it. I use Carbotech brake pads in an XP10 and an XB8 in the rear. I have the Techno Toy Tuning billet front hubs. These have new races and everything in them. You know, these hubs from the factory are getting pretty old, so it's nice that they make replacements for that. But overall, the brakes and suspension have worked really, really well. I do have Techno Toy Tuning's upgraded lower control arms, as well as a Cusco front sway bar. All right, guys, so that concludes the overview to the AE86 Time Attack car. Again, I'd like to reach out and thank everybody that has supported me over the years to get me to where I am now. I want to reach out to the viewer, to the AE86 enthusiast, and get you guys, ask me a question, engage me in the comments. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned as I continue to modify this chassis in order to make it competitive, and follow me along as we go to COTA in February for the Super Lap Battle. Again, thanks for watching.
Too fast. Your legs are too powerful.
Alright, about the car. This lunchtime soon.
Get your hands on there and pop those things.
So,
No, pick up your tripod.
well, the problem is this is on backwards now.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so now we need to rotate it this around.
Yep. Give me your shop light. Where's your shop light? Did you get it stuck?
It's trapped. All right, guys. So that's basically the setup and the. All right, guys. That kind of concludes the spot that I'm at. Yeah.
You'll get it.
Hop. So it's all in the hop. And you know, let me try again. Are we rolling? Okay, guys, that concludes the overview, the introduction. Okay.